Okay, Suzanne, I'm all packed and ready to go on our excursion.
Roger, you must have misunderstood. We're not going on any excursion. We're going to talk about the creativity technique called excursion.
So we're not going to take the bus anywhere? Not even to a casino?
No, we're not going anywhere. Today we're going to shoot a video.
Shoot.
That's right, shoot.
Let's not go there.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Chamberlin of the Creative Education Foundation, and with me is Roger Firestien. And today we're going to talk about a slightly different type of creativity technique, one that you create yourself.
That's right. These divergent techniques or excursions aren't like the other techniques we've talked about, where there are specific rules and actions or worksheets that go along with them. Excursions are different from the other techniques that we've discussed, such as stick-em-up brainstorming, brain writing, forced connections, visual connections, and scamper. These techniques are all very specific, formal techniques.
We use them about 95% of the time for creative thinking and creative problem solving. The excursions that we're going to talk about today are useful when you get stuck using those other techniques, or if you or the other group gets tired of those tools and wants to try something new. So what is an excursion anyway?
Well, I guess it's not a bus trip. Rather, it's a type of creativity technique that's based largely on using analogies to create new ideas. If your English teacher were here, he or she would tell you that analogies are all about comparing two things in order to notice similarities or differences in otherwise entirely different objects or situations. The analogies help you or the resource group to go outside of the context of the problem. Now, excursions are useful in creating analogies to look at other contexts for inspiration to help solve the problem that you're working on. Excursions help you get ideas from the problem that you're working on from other worlds such as nature, business, people, entertainment, and others.
And we create those excursions specific for the challenge that we're working on. So each time it's really a new technique. However, there are some key themes that make it easy to customize basic excursions to the challenge. Types of challenges on which excursions work well include new product idea generation, product or service naming, generation of new ideas, or when you get stuck during idea generation. So what does an excursion look like?
Well, for starters, an excursion is an activity that's created to help people look at a problem in a whole new way. For example, if you were working on the challenge of how to improve a bathtub and you wanted to use some excursions to help generate new ideas, you might create some excursions that focused on any of the following areas. Role-play activities in which you have people act out activities that relate to the challenge. For example, have people act out the activity of taking a bath, or have someone act out the part of the faucets, or role-play a parent trying to get their young child to take a bath. Other less related challenges might be role-playing mopping a floor or getting a massage. You could also role-play situations that are completely unrelated, such as a police officer stopping a motorist for speeding. Use the role plays to generate ideas for the challenge by springboarding off what the observers notice.
You can also use shopping trips to provide new ideas. For example, you can have people go out to a store or other establishment and look for ideas or products that relate to the challenge. For the tub example, that might be soaps, shampoos, cleansers, towels, brushes, bath oils, or bath toys. You can also look for products that are completely unrelated to the challenge in order to generate some really novel ideas. For the challenge of how to improve a bathtub, you might purchase some cookies, a measuring tape, yogurt, a necktie, a wine glass, or a bicycle tire. Using these products to stimulate your ideas, you create some new and different ideas by asking, what ideas do you get for the challenge when you look at these objects? In this way, excursions are similar to the technique of forced connections, which we discussed in another video. If you're limited by time, transportation, or budget, you might try a pre-planned shopping trip. You might do some shopping in advance for the group and bring in a huge range of products for them to use for stimulus. Or assign the group a shopping challenge and have them go out and shop for particular types of products in advance of the session. Here's an important warning. You may want to give them a budget limit. Last time, when we didn't give a budget limit, Jonathan came back with a Ferrari.
Yeah, have you ever tried to return a very slightly used Ferrari? Anyway, you don't have to limit your trips to shopping either. You can also take some field trips. Sometimes just going and changing the pace of the session with some related activities can give people new insights. For example, during a session for shampoo products, excursions included going to a beauty salon for a shampoo. For a snack product focusing on the teen market, one of the excursions included going to a skateboard park and watching and listening to the teens. For our tub example, you might go to a spa for a massage, or to a waterfall or a beach.
If you're really short on time, or if you want to go someplace great for a trip, but you don't have the budget.
You mean like Hawaii?
Well, sure, you can go to Hawaii.
Hey, Jonathan, we're going to Hawaii. Where do we catch the bus?
Well, actually, there's no bus, and no plane either. For a visualization excursion, you allow people to use their imagination to take them to a different place. To set the mood, you may want to dim the lights, put on some appropriate music, and maybe even show some pictures or posters of the location, like Hawaii. Then have the participants close their eyes, and you can calmly and quietly paint a picture for them, asking them to imagine the sights, the sounds, the smells, the tastes, and the feelings of that location. You paint a picture that appeals to all 5 senses.
So I'd have participants close their eyes and imagine the glistening white beaches, the clear blue waters and the palm trees gently swaying in the breeze. Look up at the volcanic peaks covered in lush green foliage. Listen to the rolling surf, the waves lapping on the shore, and the call of the birds soaring overhead. Smell the salt air and the fresh, clean breeze blowing across the Pacific. Taste the salt air on your tongue as you feel the hot sun on your face and the warm breeze blowing through your hair. Welcome to Hawaii. Suzanne. Aloha, Suzanne. Read your next line.
Another category that's fun to work with is that of entertainment, specifically linking the problem area to famous people, movies, music, or television shows. We like to use a range of these popular icons to spark some new ideas by asking the group to think about how a famous person would solve the problem. Famous people could include anyone like Madonna, John Wayne, Napoleon, Val Kilmer, Nietzsche, Tchaikovsky, or anyone else famous or a recognizable type of person, such as a hippie, a yuppie, or a rock musician. Using the tub example, what ideas would Abraham Lincoln have for how to improve a bathtub? Or what ideas would a street musician have for how to improve a bathtub? You could also ask how a problem would be solved in a movie that people are familiar with, such as Casablanca, The Bridge Over the River Kwai, It's a Wonderful Life, Batman, Flashdance, or Saturday Night Fever. It's amazing the different types of ideas you get for how to improve a bathtub from the movie Star Wars compared to Dr. Zhivago. We'll use a similar approach with television shows or famous pieces of music or famous musicians.
Another excursion that works well is to relate the problem area to famous companies. Imagine yourself working for a variety of companies from all different categories. For example, spend some time generating ideas that would be created by BMW, Ben & Jerry's, Microsoft, Fruit of the Loom, Samsonite, or Clorox. So you might ask yourself, how would BMW improve a bathtub? Also, try excursions that use a variety of companies within a category, such as a variety of automobile manufacturers, Mercedes-Benz, Chevrolet, Hyundai, Dodge, Ferrari, Honda, or Range Rover. You'll find a difference in ideas for how to improve a tub based on thinking about Rolls-Royce compared to Yugos.
Nature also yields some fertile ground for idea generation when you have people spend some time trying to solve problems from the perspective of the natural world. You could have people think about what types of situations exist in nature that is like the problem you're working on. For example, what in nature is like a bathtub? A lake. So what ideas can we generate for how to improve a bathtub by thinking about a lake? You can also suggest various natural elements or phenomena to help generate ideas, such as mountains, tornadoes, rain, Venus flytrap, glaciers, and so forth. By suggesting these items, you can ask what these have in common with the problem and see how it helps to generate new ideas.
The last category that we frequently use is that of literature and the press. This involves looking at a variety of magazines, newspapers, or books that might relate to the challenge or to the target audience. You might also pursue sources that are completely different from the topic. So for example, if you're looking for tub ideas for kids, you might look at Highlights magazines, Disney Adventures, or some Dr. Seuss books. Or if you're looking for tub ideas, you might look at unrelated sources like cookbooks, automotive magazines, or the Wall Street Journal. You could even create a collage from the various print sources and then use that as inspiration for new ideas.
So excursions are a powerful category of analogy-based creativity techniques where you can really be creative in inventing activities. When you create excursions, remember to look for analogies that help the group look at the problem in new ways, in related ways, or in totally different ways. Remember the different categories that we talked about? Shopping trips, field trips, entertainment, famous companies, nature, literature, and the press. Or create some excursions of your own. Try some new approaches and see what happens. If it works, add it to your creativity toolbox. If it doesn't, learn from it, or switch to another excursion, or use one of the standby creativity techniques like forced connections.
When we go in to facilitate a session, we'll frequently use the techniques like brainstorming, visual connections, scamper, brainwriting, and also have a list of 10 to 20 possible excursions to change the pace or to invigorate the group. So give it a try. Take an excursion or two the next time you need some creative ideas and see if the ideas don't take you away. And as for me, I'm going to take an excursion of my own and get back on the road again. On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again.